What's up, guys? We're back. We're live. Beat the Line Broadcast, episode 52. I'm your host, Picks by Pegasus. I'm here with Key3Picks and Dravhy. 100 official UFC Apex cards. We finally made it. The big 100. And what do we get for 100? A dog shit card from top to bottom. It couldn't be worse. That's just how they want to do UFC 100. You would think they would have put together something a little creative. No, we get this crap. It's horrible. But that's besides, from a betting standpoint, it's horrible. From content standpoint, there could be some memes here. Could get a little crazy. What do you guys think?
I don't think it's that bad, to be honest. Like, I'm not a fan of the card for betting, but I think as far as a fan goes, like, there's not like big names on the card, but I think there's going to be some finishes and some fun fights, you know? Like, I think they did plan this card for finishes, so we're going to see when we talk about it, but maybe it's end up being like a sleeper card and then a fun card at the end of the night. Like, when there's like big cards and we're expecting like fun fights and shit like that, sometimes we're just disappointed. And I think on this card, we might just see a lot of finishes and fun fights, but we'll see.
All right, let's get into it.
They know that a real card is on this week, bro. Invicta is on.
Which card is that?
Fuck UFC. Invicta is on. So UFC knew they took a shit week because Invicta is here to take all the viewership for the whole week.
There's LFA too on, but that's besides the point. Let's get into this first fight. Let's get this over with. Tresean Gore versus Antonio Tricoli. Tresean Gore is 4-2. He's 30 years old, 6 feet tall, 75-inch reach. Antonio Tricoli, 12-4, 33, 6'5", 80-inch reach. He is the Pirates' last victim. The odds on these two gentlemen: Tresean Gore anywhere from -162 to -175. Antonio Tricoli +132 to +150. I'll go first. Tresean Gore, if I'm not mistaken, he took 2 years ago. So he's taken 2 years off. You go look at his Instagram. He's out training. He's between a new camp down in Georgia and MMA labs. Looking at this from a standpoint, we watched Tricoli just fight Shara Bullet. Tricoli sucks on the feet. He's horrible. You go back, look at his jiu-jitsu. His jiu-jitsu is I don't think it's anything to write home about. I hope with the time off that Tresean Gore had, he healed up, learned a little bit more. It's not like he looked bad in the Ultimate Fighter or things like that. And like even early on, like losing to Colby Brundage is a bad look. I think that's this one. Battle is aging well, but this is like when he was Pooh Bear, not when he was the Butcher. Dravhy still has nightmares about the Butcher being a French man. And then he guillotined Fremd. So from that standpoint, I think if this fight stays standing, Tresean Gore is probably going to knock out Tricoli or win a decisive decision. Goes to the ground, we should be a little bit worried, I guess, because you got to give Tricoli some upside on the ground, but we don't really know how much Gore has improved on his BJJ at MMA Lab. So we'll find out. But honestly, I thought the line was still like -180, -200 for Tresean Gore. Now it's -162. If that line comes in a little more, I'll be happy to play Tresean Gore here at minus odds. What do you think, Key?
Yeah, I mean, if we could get like a real like investigation as to why Tricoli is like truly here, it doesn't really make sense. I mean, he's popped for Pez. He's been off years, magically comes back after getting canceled against Ikram, but then magically comes back to fight Shara. Like, it just doesn't. There's a lot of things that don't make sense here.
He's got Duran's cheeks. He's got her cheeks, bro. You know.
I mean, that's just shit. Is God bless him, but I mean that's the only thing that he's winning in life right now. Because I don't get it. Like his frame, 185. It's just like really awkward. Yeah, unathletic Johnny Walker. Like,
yeah, but wannabe Johnny Walker. That's all.
It's like it's super weird. I just don't get it. Like even in his older fights, he didn't look good. Like he never looked UFC caliber. It's not like he looked UFC caliber at one time and then it's like finally now getting his chance. Like he's never looked UFC caliber. On Tresean's side, there's a shit ton of questions. Pulling out of the Bo Nickel fight. Pulling out of the AJ Dobson fight earlier this year. It's just weird. But I would have to assume he's been putting in the work. From the looks of his Instagram, it seems like he's been getting good looks. Peg mentioned MMA Lab. I believe the Georgia spot is I believe one of the Lima brothers is in charge of that because Durden
Douglas
also
Lima,
gets some work
yeah.
in. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that Durden and Carl Williams, I'm sure Dan would know. But yeah, I think that they're down in Georgia, so you get some work in with them. But I know that he's also been at MMA Lab. I think that's a smart move. I think that Trayshawn isn't like bad. Like I think that he's just a guy that one deserved to have more experience, and has had to deal with some inactivity in his career. I mean, people are forgetting. I mean, there's a guy that people are kind of hyped up on coming into UFC. Like he looked decent on Tough, was knocking out guys. I mean, he has real pop, real power. It doesn't feel like he's been going this long. It feels like only a year ago I saw him rip Josh Friend's neck off. But this should be an interesting fight. I have my eyes on some different props here. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Drop, what are you thinking?
Yeah, nothing much to add. I mean, I think Gore, he's better on the feet. He does have some power, but there's like question marks on this fight, like the layoff, the injuries, and the guy is only 4-2 at the end of the day. He doesn't have a lot of experience, a lot of cancellation fights, and Tricoli, I mean, he's not like I think he's durable to his credit. Like he's not easy to finish standing. And he's a good grappler, but I don't think his wrestling is very good. He could be a bit tricky on the feet. I think early on in the Shara fight, he was not doing like terrible. But let's not forget that Shara cheated in that fight. I think it was in round 2. Like he grabbed the fence massively, like it was bad. But yeah, I don't think Tricoli is like awful, but I don't think he's UFC caliber. Like he's a regional fighter, but he's a tough guy. He's going to be way taller and longer than Gore here. And he does have a grappling path. So, yeah, I don't think you can play Gore at the price. But he's at MMA Lab, I think, for the most part. And he's the type of guy that has potential, has some ceiling, but he's only 4-2 and he needs to put it all together. He's already 30 years old, so it's now or never for him. So, kind of think he's going to get it done, but yeah, he's just not someone I can trust at a price like that. So the fight's just a pass overall for me. But as far as the pick goes, I think he's going to get it done. KO or decision, I'm not sure, but I don't think he's going to submit him.
All right. Next fight. Let's see here. Should I share this tab? Can you guys see that? It is Gaston Bolanos versus Cortavius Romious. Are you not entertained? Romious, 9-2. He's 30 years old. He's 5'4" with a 68-inch reach. Gaston Bolanos is 7-4, 32, 5'7" with a 69-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen, Romious is anywhere from minus 215 to 225. Bolanos anywhere from plus 175 to plus 185. Drav, do you think Romious is going to implement his BJJ in grappling and get Bolanos out of there? Or is Bolanos going to keep it on the feet and maybe find a KO here with his Muay Thai?
It's such a tricky fight because I think Romious has a massive advantage in the grappling department. But then you're looking at his tapes and he doesn't wrestle enough for me to back him at minus 2xx. He doesn't shoot a lot of takedowns, a lot of his submission or on bottom, on bar, stuff like that. And most of the time, it's like people are shooting takedowns on him, and he's a strong guy, so he end up on top, stuff like that. But he doesn't have the best stop control. I don't think he's that good of a wrestler, like I said. And Bolanos, I think his ground game is a 0. I really don't think he's good on the ground. So it should be like Romious should take him down and dominate there. And Bolanos also, it's not like he doesn't like. He's a striker, right? But it's not like he will not engage on the ground. Like in some fights, he's getting taken down and he has the opportunity to get back up, and then he's trying to punch and going the ground himself instead of just standing up, which I don't like. So, and yeah, I mean, he's like you said, multi-striker. He does hit hard. He's a decent striker, but I don't think he's that good of a striker either. Like I'm not super high on this guy. I'm not sure he should be there. But Romious, I think he does have higher ceiling, but I don't think he's also not sure he's ready as well. His level of competition is not very good. His fight IQ, Romious, is questionable. Like you could just end up swinging dicks with this guy and see who fall first. And yeah, I mean, Romious can compete on the feet. Like he hit hard and he's gonna pressure him, but it's not like if he doesn't grapple, there's no way he's gonna cover this price tag, you know. So it's just a tricky fight for me. I think Bolanos making some improvements in the takedown defense department in his last fight compared to the past one. And yeah, he looked locked in on Instagram. He's training hard, you know, and he took some time off, but he got beat up last time out. I do rate Marcus McGee quite high. So yeah, I mean, Marcus McGee will also like beat Romious' ass. But yeah, it's just a fight where I think Romious should take the easy path, grapple, and get the win, potentially the sub. But I just can't trust him to do that minus 200. I think the guy is not very smart, and he's also smaller than Bolanos. So I think Romious get it done, probably by submission, probably a violent and fun fight. But yeah, that's my read.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with you. I think if Romious gets it down, he could find the submission here. He's a high-level grappler. Wrestling kind of stinks to get it there. I mean, if he comes out here and wants to be a jackass like he did against Raymond Tavares and just go swanging and banging for the first minute of the fight, he'll probably get slept by Bolanos just like Tavares did. But I don't think that's his game plan here. I think if he wrestles, gets the takedowns, and wins on the ground, I think he should be fine. His last fight against Imperioli for Dana White Contender Series. Personally, I think he should have finished Imperato. Sorry. Imperioli, I don't know where I came up with that. If he would have finished Imperato, it's probably what he should have done. I don't know how that fight got so elongated, so I kind of think that was a bad look in my opinion. But outside of that, like, we know he's got heavy hands, hits hard, good jiu-jitsu. Like, they want him. The UFC wants him to win here. I think he's probably the side. I wouldn't be parlaying him, I don't think, at minus 225 or anything like that. But yeah, I think he wins by sub as well. Key, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I take this whenever Bolanos was like still plus 140, I think, plus 145. And I was really underwhelmed with both guys. I was going in the tape thinking I was going to get to a Bolanos bet pretty easy. But I mean, fuck, he stinks. I know he has this like big time Muay Thai background and shit, but like he is stiff as a board, it feels like. Pause. But he's super stiff on the feet. Yeah, my fault. This is just it's a tough run of words right now. He's really tight. I'm not getting any better, but regardless, he's not good on the feet in my opinion. Not to what his background shows. I'm kind of interested as to why he was first signed in the first place. There were some like just day one grappling mistakes that he's making in fights. And I think this athleticism and strength ends up saving him in a lot of spots. But I really don't think that he's that good on the feet either. I mean, Marcus McGee looked like a Golden Gloves boxer against him. I mean, and Marcus McGee is good, but I did not think he was that good. And I think that a lot of that had to do with Bolanos just being super slow and clunky, and just got his ass whooped, like flat out just got his ass whooped. At times he was backing up, smiling and laughing. I don't know what for, because Marcus McGee was steady putting an ass whooping on him. Romious, I think that he's shit too, if I'm being completely honest. I know that everybody loves the athleticism and thinks that he's God's greatest gift. But I mean, this guy is not. Zero process on the feet. Imperato and him was a real actual competitive fight, which if you're having competitive fights with Imperato, whenever you're supposed to be a UFC guy, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. And a lot, as Dravhy mentioned, a lot of his finishes, I mean, you're talking like arm bars off his back. I mean, he's just shooting random shit. That's just like, okay, you're beating guys at the regional level with that, but that's not good process or sustainable at the UFC level. So yeah, this is a complete pass fight for me. I think loser should go home. I know that this is Romious' first UFC fight, but I don't care. Send him home if he loses to Bolanos. Send Bolanos home, even if he wins. Send both home. I don't want to see these guys ever fight in the UFC again.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be some interesting shit. You're going to be going next. Your Super Bowl's coming up. Next fight we have is Melissa Mullins versus Claudia Sygula. Melissa Mullins is 6'1". She's 33, 5'7", with a 68-inch reach. Claudia Sygula is 6'1", 25, hot, 5'8", no reach given. Odds on these two ladies, Dixon's anywhere from minus 240 to 250. Sygula's anywhere from plus 200 to plus 210. I mean, Key, Mullins a nasty girl, if you will. Do you think she's just going to maul Sygula because Sygula is kind of green here and can get bullied like we've seen on tape? Seems relatively small, in my opinion, but petite, hot, like we said. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as high on her looks as you are, but this is I don't really know what to think here. I'm not sure why Sygula was signed. Her tape is not good. I mean, it wasn't garbage, but it just wasn't good. I know she had a different rule set in the last fight that I saw, but even the clips of the other stuff I saw, it just wasn't like wow, she's a woman that throws a 1-2. Like, it's just basic shit. I know that she's been getting in some work with Ernesta Caracate. If you know, you know. She's also in the UFC. She's been out there with that. I mean, so that's a good training partner to have. But Mullins is low-key a dog. I mean, I bet Cornell at plus 275 against Mullins last time out. Just because I've always thought that Mullins is very questionable on the feet. And I think their grappling is solid. And I think that that's the obvious path here. I'm not parlaying her at -2, whatever it is, because I think that she has some questions to answer after that KO loss. But she's physical. She will wrestle hard. And I think that on top, I think that she's actually like really solid. So I think that Mullins gets it done here. But I wouldn't be surprised to see some nasty 29-28 decision where they just sort of banged it out on the feet, because Sygula probably has volume upside on the feet if Mullins can't get this to the ground somehow. And Mullins isn't a girl that like is a clean striker. Like, she's junkyard dog. She's going to get in the pocket. She's going to take a couple hits. So it's not like she has a clean path on the feet. And on the ground, you just don't really know if Sygula truly is a fish or if Sygula is going to show some get-up skills. Like, you just don't know. So for me, I'm not willing to pay either price to find out. So this is a take notes fight for me. So I'll gladly pass on this one.
Drav?
Yeah, pretty much like he mentioned. I think the under could be interesting on this one. I think Mullins, like he said, like if she get on top and get her game going, I feel like she might finish the fight. Good ground game. And yeah, I'm not sure about this other girl. You know, I've seen the fight where she got submitted pretty quickly. I know it was back in the days, but she never fought anybody. And yeah, she's making her debut here. And yeah, I just think that she's going to struggle on the mat against Mullins and eventually getting finished. But again, it's a girl fight, maybe go the distance. And I think Mullins should, you know, bring the girl doing more, get on top and go to work. So I think she's going to get it done. I'm not sure how, but I think she wins.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of think Mullins mauls are here, honestly. I don't think it'll be close. I think it's going to be a levels game. Sygula's tape looks relatively green. The competition she's fought has been very low level. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't got much to say. I think she could definitely find a finish here, but I could also see a decision if this girl hangs in there. But let's hope she doesn't get beat up too bad. No one would like to see that. All right. Next fight we got is a pretty good one. It's going to be Blackshear versus Cody Stamann. Cody Stamann is 21-7-1. He's 35, 5'6" with a 64.5-inch reach. Blackshear, 14-7-1, 30, 5'10", 72-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen, you get Stamann anywhere from plus 220 to plus 230. You get Blackshear anywhere from minus 275 to minus 300. Drav, is Blackshear going to implement a grappling game plan here and get the wrestling and BJJ going, or are we going to see a boxing match from Cody Stamann?
I'm pretty sure we're going to see some grappling here. Blackshear, I think, stronger than Stamann. I think he's pretty big. The very competitive fight he had against Zalal was a good look. He was up 2-0 going into round 3, gas out, got 10-8 in round 3. But I think knowing how good Zalal is now, I think it was a good look. And you compete with him in the grappling, and Zalal grappling, I mean, been underrated, but now it's not anymore. I just think that Blackshear in this fight, he does have like all the finishing upside. I think he hit harder. I think he's the better grappler. I think if anyone get a submission, it's going to be him. I think he's the better grappler. I think on the feet, I think he's going to be landing the bigger shot. But Stamann, is a good boxer, good minute winner. I think he's going to have his moment here. And he might get some takedowns of his own, I think it might be the last fight on his contract. I'm pretty sure it is. So if you lose this 3-fight losing streak, last fight on your contract, 36 years old. So I think the job's on the line for him. So you might take more risk on this one. And I think it's life to win a decision, obviously. Blackshear, if you look, Blackshear has been fighting a lot of good guys, even outside the UFC. So his record and decision is not that good. But I think Stamann these days, he's a bit on the decline. And Blackshear, he's coming back after a bad knockout loss against Jackson. But I think it was a bit random, to be honest. If they're running back, I don't think that's the same outcome. I think it was like a weird. I didn't expect that to happen. I think most people didn't. He never got finished prior to that. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't come out the same, but it's not like Stamann has power and something to worry about. I know Blackshear switched gym. He's at Killcliff now, which I think it might be good for him. The guy is just an athletic freak. He was very competitive with like Batista, all these guys. I think he's on a full camp here. So I think he should win the fight, but I think Stamann's going to make it close, especially if he go the distance.
Key, anything different here?
Yeah, I think this is just why. Like, this isn't. I know people joke about women's MMA fights being piss breaks, but this is a piss break to me, if I'm being completely real. Like,
come on, Blackshear's good, bro. Come on, dude.
Blackshear's good, but I'm not
Blackshear's
looking to see Cody Stamann fight in 2024. Like, if I'm just being honest, like I'm just not.
That's fair.
I think the Blackshear is the rightful favorite. I think line could be looked at as a little too wide. It's currently minus 275. I think that this is a little wide, but it's not like Stamann is some guy that's gonna like stamp a win. Like, he's not gonna stamp a win. And so, Jesus Christ. I think Blackshear's a better grappler. I think if he gets the back, it could potentially be the round. I'm interested to see him after that knockout loss. Montel Jackson, hits like a truck. And I'm very interested to see where he goes next. But I thought that Damone had a real argument to win the Bautista fight. We're talking about Bautista, who just beat Jose Aldo. I know that probably triggers a couple people and flares up some PTSD for some, but
especially Peg.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, though, I think that Blackshear probably gets it done here, but parlaying at minus 275 is crazy work. I don't think that he finishes. I think this is probably a decision. This is really nasty matchmaking shit. Yeah, move on.
Yeah, I think the line is wide. I would make, Damon, what I say he was 275 to 300. I give him maybe 175 here. I think he should be the favorite, but not crazy. Gonna have grappling upside. He's going to be the longer striker for sure. But like Cody Stamann, he's not like he does everything well. He doesn't do anything great. Like you said, I think you put it perfectly. He's not going to put a stamp on this fight in any means. Maybe Blackshear's chin's gone and Cody can get his Golden Glove boxing going and find his chin, but I doubt that. So I think Blackshear's got to be the side, but I wouldn't be touching this fight at the current odds. Next fight, it is the Chuck Buffalo, Charles Radtke versus Semi the Gemini, Matt Semelsberger. Radtke is 9-4. He's 34, 5'9" with a 72-inch reach. Semelsberger is 11-7, 31, 6'1" with a 75-inch reach. Looking the odds on these two guys, you can get Semelsberger anywhere from plus 120 to plus 135. You can get Radtke anywhere from minus 150 to minus 160. So the line is coming in. I'll go first here just because I'll be quick. Going into tapes on this fight, honestly, I was trying to get myself to bet Semelsberger here. Usually I'm on the other side of him. But going in this, I was like, you can't get it done. Because I was originally thinking, Radtke's chin is sus at times. He gets hurt. Semelsberger used to have an elite chin, but ever since the Jeremiah Wells fight, the chin is diminished. He's been knocked down in every fight since then.
Whoa,
I think
that's not true. You only got knocked out one time against Medish.
No. Knocked down. Not knocked out, knocked down.
You didn't get knocked down against Parsons.
Yeah, he did. I thought he did with an elbow, with an overhand elbow coming out of the clinch. Round 2. Look it up. This guy's not doing his tapes. Yo, he's not doing his tapes.
I mean, on UFC stat, there's no knockdown count for the fight.
Oh, so maybe okay, he could have slipped. I thought it was a knockdown. Either way, Parsons was piecing him up on the feet. Looking at this fight, Radtke is going to have a huge grappling upside here. We've seen Semelsberger get top time before. We've seen him give up his back trying to get up because it's kind of like he's one of those guys who's super athletic, super strong, could just stand up. If you get a guy like Radtke on top of you, on your back, or you're in his guard, I think Radtke could find a submission finish here. The one thing I do like about Semelsberger is how long his jab is and that he's been doing these Muay Thai competitions. So that tells me he's been working on his striking. We know he's got explosive power. We know he's explosive. He does tend to slow down as the fight goes on, but he actually looked pretty good when he was in Salt Lake City against Medic. Going towards the end, he still had that dog in him fighting in that third round. But I don't know. I was looking at this. It was really hard to pick a side. I'm going to take Radtke here to win. I wouldn't play him yet. I think line comes in on Semelsberger. If we get closer to like minus 120, minus 130, I'll probably take a shot on him there. I don't mind Radtke by submission. I think it's plus 750. But all in all, I'm talking about, Radtke's chin and then the submission upside of Radtke has. So under 2.5, minus 105. I don't hate that look. Then you don't have to take a side. You just hope for a banger and hope for a finish, which I think we kind of get here in the small cage. Drav, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's more the surgery of Semelsberger that worry me to play him. That was 6 months rehab. Let me just check.
Yeah, it was
in March that he had that. It was an elbow surgery or it was shoulder or elbow.
I think it was his elbow.
That was elbow. Yeah, that was 6 months rehab since March. So he probably started back training in like September or something. So that's kind of, I don't like that. He's 1-5 in his last 5, which is not great either. But to be fair, he's been fighting good guys, and some of these fights he could have won. Like he looked very good in the Jake Matthews fight. He knocked him down every round, which was kind of impressive, in that fight. Even the Wells fight, I mean, he knocked him down twice. He could have won that fight. He lost because of grappling in that fight more than likely. The Medic fight, I mean, he almost killed him early. I think we all backed Medic there. He almost killed him. He was looking good, and then Medic kind of came back into the fight and knocked him out after that, which was kind of surprising. But yeah, like you said, man, I mean, the guy used to have an insane chin. And it's not only that fight. I mean, Alex Morono rocked him and wobbled him in round 1, which was, not the greatest look. And what I've noticed on tapes is like the guys get touch up with left hook a lot, man. I mean, Morono fight early round 1, he got clipped with left hook. And also even Jake, man, I mean, he got him with some left hook, even like he kind of wobbled him in some spot. Even though you won the fight convincingly, I mean, he was still getting touch up with left hook, and he kind of struggled with that, and that's Radtke's best punch. One of the reasons I backed Radtke against Urbina, I backed him to win. He was the underdog, and I bet him to finish. It was because of the left hook, and Urbina was very susceptible to the left hook. So I think in that fight, he could hurt Matthews. I think he could hurt him. And he has the grappling upside, obviously. But I do think that the wrestling of Radtke is being a bit overrated, and the takedown defense and grappling of Semelsberger getting a bit underrated. That's how I see it personally. I think on the feet, it's probably going to be competitive, but I think Semelsberger hit harder. I think he has big moment upside. I think he's the more likely of the two to hurt or drop Radtke. And like I think that if Radtke had success in the round, I think Semelsberger could steal a round with only like 30 seconds. You know, he's what 9-1 to the knockdown in the UFC. Let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a guy who has 10 knockdown in the UFC, only been knocked down one time officially. So 10-1 to the knockdown ratio, which is, he's not that good of a finisher, man. I mean, he doesn't have good finishing instincts, it looked like, but a big knockdown can steal a round, can make him win the round. So I feel like I kind of disagree. You say the fight's going to finish. I think the fight might go the distance and be close. Just because I'm not sure Radtke is going to submit him. Not sure how likely is it that he has much grappling upside. He's going to try, but he doesn't wrestle a lot on tapes, especially early. So I feel like Semelsberger by decision plus 500 can be a decent look. Just because if they go the distance, I'm pretty sure it's going to be close. And they have Radtke decision like plus 175, plus 200. And they have Semelsberger decision plus 500. Which I really don't agree with. I mean, the fight's a pick 'em to go the distance, but you're giving Radtke most of the decision equity because of the grappling, I guess. But even in decision that Matthews lost, he was in very close competitive decision that he could have won. So he's probably fighting for his job also. He's in 3-fight losing streak. And also the Parson fight was also on short notice, by the way. I think he had only 2 or 3 weeks to train to prepare. And that fight, he has a full camp for this one. So, and yeah, Radtke is also coming back after a bad knockout loss, So, yeah, I feel like the fight's going to be close. People are very low on Semelsberger, but he's the younger guy who fought the better people, who's going to be bigger, who hit harder, who's the better striker. So I kind of feel like he's going to get it done. And people might bet violence because, yeah, it's going to be probably a violent fight that end up going the distance. And I think that Semelsberger decision is a decent look. So, yeah.
Key, what do you got?
Yeah, another two guys I don't want to watch fight, if I'm being completely real. I will say at least this will be more action than Blackshear and Stamann, most likely. Semi could beat Habib in round 1 by KO one day and then lose to Peg the next day. Like, you just don't know. It's all about, like, however he wakes up feeling. If he feels like the champ of the world or if he feels like a schoolboy. I'm not sure. Radtke, I think, has an obvious grappling advantage here. But have we seen Radtke? I mean, Radtke's the same guy that, Blood Diamond wasn't getting taken down by this guy, really. Long live the legend, Blood Diamond. But I think that this is a spot where I think Radtke has upside to look like a wide favorite. But I feel like he will manage a way to not. Semi, like Drav mentioned, coming off an injury. 3 losses, where all 3 probably were winnable fights. This is the ultimate pass. Both guys have a bunch of questions for me. Semi's probably fighting for his job after the weirdest UFC run of all time, it seems like. Probably fighting for his job here. Another Radtke post-fight speech probably is good for the MMA community with the way that yeah. So I'll just leave it at that. So yeah, next fight.
Next fight. Mansour Abdul-Malik versus Dusko Todorovic. Sorry. Also, I'm killing the names today, Key. You haven't commented on that at all. Mansour Abdul-Malik is 6-0. He's 27, 6'2", 80-inch reach. Dusko Todorovic is 12-4. He is 30, 6'1", with a 74-inch reach. He's coming off of a 2-year layoff, I believe. 1 year, 7 months, same thing. Line on these guys. Malik is anywhere from minus 365 to 380. Todorovic anywhere from plus 260 to plus 300. I'll go first because mine's quick. We know Dusko's chin's gone. This is a clear setup spot for Malik. They're trying to find a new star. This guy was a state champ wrestler, although when we saw in the West fight, I mean, he kind of got tired and was able to get him down, but then he was getting taken down himself by West. So that was a little concerning. But we know he's got heavy hands. He's got a bunch of finishes. I think they're trying to set him up to get a first-round finish here. Honestly, I think the way you play this fight is, I mean, you can't even play the KO on Malik, so I wouldn't even touch that. I mean, I guess I don't want to say parlay him just because I feel like I'm going to get burned on that. But, like, I guess if you want to parlay him, you can. But you could also, like, if you want to wait around, he does get tired, Malik, and does slow down. If that's the case, Todorovic could definitely pick it up here. He's a more experienced fighter looking at it, so I don't mind a live line on Todorovic. He's fought pretty good competition. He's fought RoboCop, Cheaty. Jordan Wright was a good win, and then he lost to CLD, but that was because of an injury. So I don't know. I think you either play Dusko live after round 1 or round 1.5, depending on when you want, or you just sit on the side and watch Mansour knock him out. Key, what are you thinking?
Yeah, Mansour by more testosterone in his body. I think that this is a obvious setup spot. I don't rate the guy super highly. I will say I do have a decent amount of money on him this weekend through apps, though. So I'll leave it at that. If you guys in Dub Club got something a couple hours before we're recording this podcast. So, yeah, I think Mansour is – I don't think that he's elite or the next coming. But Todorovic is coming off of a CLD knee injury loss in that fight. I cashed on CLD at like minus 180 in that fight. Shout out Marlo. He knows. But this is a fight that, I mean, can the UFC make it more obvious who they want to push here? And I also think that Mansour is a guy that could have used another year on regionals. I think there's plenty of Dana White Contender Series guys that are coming in now from this season specifically that were guys that needed another year on regionals. But he'll get away with it in this matchup. He'll horse Dusko around and beat the shit out of him for a round or two.
Drav, anything from you?
Yeah, Peg, with the names, he's even confusing me and Key for a couple of times on the podcast.
I was so focused on the fighters' names that I'm getting you guys
yeah,
messed up.
I mean, you can do both, right? Too complicated. Yeah, anyways, like you guys said, setup spot for sure. I'm just like, I mean, if Malik covers price tag and win, it's more often than not, it got to be under 1.5 rounds. And, you know, under 1.5 is like minus 150. So I think that's the way to play him because, you know, the KO is like minus 175, minus 200. I wouldn't touch that. And yeah, I mean, Dusko, he was getting taken down left and right by Jordan Wright, which was not a good look early. And then Jordan Wright gassed out and, you know, he broke him. But I think Malik is super physical, super strong. I don't think Dusko is going to be able to take him down early when Malik is fresh. And I mean, Dusko, you know, he's coming back after, I think, a surgery or an injury. Is that a surgery, guys? I think it is, right? Yeah, it was surgery against CLD that he injured himself. So layoff, surgery. And then the guy has a bad chin. And they're matching him up with the guy that hit like a truck and an undefeated prospect they want to build. And like, it's not only on the feet. I mean, if Malik take him down, which he could, man, I mean, he could definitely take him down. His ground and pounds is nasty. The guy put some guy out cold on the regional and brutally. And, you know, Dusko, I don't think he has good chin. I think he can get knocked out on the ground. I think he can get knocked out on the feet, especially in the first round. And Dusko, you know, he's a guy that decent striker. He fight with his hands down and he get hit a lot, you know. I think the Soriano fight took a lot of his years out of him. You know, he got dropped and hurt multiple times in that fight. So Malik, he get hit himself. He can get hurt, you know. So Dusko knocking him out early is also possible. That's why I think the under 1.5 makes sense. You know, West, he's not good, and he had success on the feet against this guy. So I think the under 1.5 is the way to go. Minus 150 on this one. I think you kind of cover most of the finishing equity on both sides. And I mean, Dusko could finish late, I guess, but I kind of feel like if it goes over 1.5, it might just go the distance, you know. So yeah, I think that's the way to play it if you want to.
Do you think the over?
No, the under. My bad. I think if it goes over 1.5, it might go the distance. That's what I meant to say. Like I said with Mike Malott last week, shout out him winning his first decision and me not betting it.
Next fight, Zaleski versus Zach Scroggin. Zaleski is 24-8-1. He's 37, 5'11 with a 73-inch. Zach Scroggin is 7-0, 28, 6'3 with a 74.5-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen, plus 400 for Scroggin, minus 575 for Zaleski. Scroggin just got here because he's part of Ogden's camp. Doesn't really belong in the UFC. No reason to bet on this fight. Pass for me. What are you thinking, Key?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of Scroggin tape. He was getting put on his ass. He had a 30-second calf kick win, which is, I mean, the weirdest shit ever. Guy just quit after a couple calf kicks. Looked like somebody that just came to MMA class for the first day. And then there was another win where it's just absolute bullshit with him, I'll be honest. I'm not sure what to think here. I don't rate guys who are getting these because this is James Krause's alliance promotion. This was formerly James Krause's shit. I know that Ogden and Zach Cummings have sort of taken over a lot of the fighters that were with James Krause. But the guys who are getting these fights in there, we saw it with Bulgarian. They're just getting easy softballs thrown at them. There's a reason this guy has all of his fights there. I don't understand why the UFC is just acting like they don't recognize this, but I get it. Deals, backroom deals are made, and you got to meet your end of the deal. So I don't think Scroggin should be here. Zaleski probably cooks him. Unsure if he finds the finish. But for me, this will be a fight that does not get any of my money.
Dravhy, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, this guy's weird. He's not like the worst of all time, but he's definitely a regional fighter, man. Quite obvious on tapes, you know. You lost. I mean, you won a split decision against a guy who's 0-3. Very close fight in his first pro fight. He was getting taken down and losing scrambles to this guy. Not a great look. And then he has the knockout in 30 seconds, which he was just elbowing the guy in the clinch. The ref stopped it. The guy was trying to shoot takedowns on him. He was not out. It was like a bullshit stoppage. The first round KO that he has. And then the leg kicks KO in 30 seconds. I mean, the guy just quit after 3 or 4 leg kicks, which was very weird. And then he had some early submission. And I'm not sure what to think about this guy. I think his cardio is questionable. He's big for the division though, but I think his cardio is questionable. I think he's very hittable. His wrestling offensively is good or decent, I should say, but defensively it's not very good. And I know like he's going for subs, but he's also putting himself in bad position, guillotines and stuff like that. So if ZDS by submission is like a massive price, which it might be because he doesn't have a lot of subs, you could submit him. Like he really could, you know, I really think so. And you could also knock him out because this guy is very hittable. But he's going to try to fight. He has a good camp, like you guys mentioned, Trey Ogden guy. They usually have good game plan, but he's coming out on very short notice. Big step up, making his debut against a veteran. Even though there's a 10 years advantage for Zach, I just don't think he should be there. And Zaleski has been proven to be UFC top 20 fighters for a long time. But he's getting older, and his chin, you know, is on decline also. So, yeah, I think he should get it done, but I'm not going to bet this fight either, personally.
All right. Next fight, Key, you're going to be going first.
Robertson versus Pinheiro.
Yep, it's Luana Pinheiro versus Jillian Robertson. Pinheiro is 11-3, 30 years old, 5'4", with a 62-inch reach. Jillian Robertson is 14-8. She's 29, 5'5", with a 63-inch reach. Line on these two ladies, you can get Robertson anywhere from minus 375 to minus 400. Pinheiro is anywhere from plus 300 or plus 275 to plus 300. I mean, Key, Pinheiro is kind of a gas bag. Are we going to see Jillian Robertson get her grappling going and find the finish late in this fight, finish it early? How does she finish?
Yeah, I think that she probably finds it late. Numbers on it, in my opinion, are pretty shit. The books sort of know what the angle was for this fight. Jillian's nasty. It's good to see her get some real love from the community. because she has a fun style, a fan-friendly grappling style. And I think that Luana, I know that everybody's low on her now, but Luana is a girl that's like very much been moment over minutes, has provided some action in fights. I know that Angela Hill was a terrible look. The Hebos fight, I had her very, very, I think it was like plus 275, plus 280, something crazy. And she showed herself really well in that fight until the end. I hope she doesn't get cut because I think that she's just dealt with shit matchmaking and just sort of being ran up a little too fast. I think that she still tees off on some of these lower level girls and could provide some fun stuff. But yeah, this is I think that it's inevitable that Robertson ends up finding something here. She's just too mean, too nasty on top, and Pinheiro is a quitter. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Robertson probably finds the finish later in the fight because I think early on, I think Luana will actually have her minutes early on in this fight, kind of like you said. She's got good cardio early. She's a high-level judoka. Her striking's good. She's got heavy hands. And we know Jillian Robertson's not that great on the feet. So I think while she's fresh, she may be able to stop some of the takedowns of Robertson, or maybe even try and get a head and arm toss of her own using her judo. But outside of that, once the fight starts carrying on and Jillian starts getting the wrestling going and wearing on her, or gets any sort of top time, I think that's where it ends. I know a lot of people are probably going to try and go to the well with Robertson by sub. I mean, it's most probable. She's really good at jiu-jitsu. But plus 110's there. I think KO is a little bit better. But I'm probably just going to play inside the distance. I know it's probably going to be – I think it's like minus 130. Those are pretty ugly odds. But honestly, it covers both those prices. And I think she has a way to both find a sub and, get on top, get top mount, start raining elbows, and get Pinheiro to quit on the ground in, round 2, round 3. So it covers both those prices. So, yeah, I'm probably going to take Jillian Robertson inside the distance here. Dravhy, what are you thinking?
Yeah, you can get minus 135 for that. At this point, you could just take the under 2.5. It's minus 148. It's almost the same price.
Yeah, and then you cover maybe if Pinheiro gets a knockout in the first or something.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys mentioned, I mean, Robinson switching and dropping down weight class is one of the best moves she ever made in her entire career. She's been looking very good since she dropped down the weight class, man. Her wrestling got better. Even her striking, man. She's been working on her striking. I know she's not like a good striker, but she's making it work for her style. You know, she's pressuring. She's getting better, man. I mean, I've seen a difference in that his last 2-3 fights compared to the last 5 fights ago. Since she's with Dean Thomas now, a good coach for her, it seems like. And yeah, she was just not strong enough on the upper weight class since she was getting muscle around against these girls. Now we can see that her grappling and her wrestling is for her style is way better at 115, and she's making the cut and she's looking in shape, you know. So I love that for her. And also her ground and pound and elbows has been looking like nastier, fight after fight. You know, she's making her game to elbows their face, and then they're gonna give up the sub. That's kind of what she's doing now. She was not throwing a lot of these ground and pound 6 fights ago, maybe, you know. So I think her ground and pound is very good. Her striking serviceable, but she's gonna go for takedowns here. And I think she has a massive cardio advantage. Obviously, Pinheiro kind of a front runner. She's good in round 1. I think she's explosive. She does hit hard. Good judo throw and stuff like that. She might even win the first round, you know. Maybe it's possible. But after 6 or 7 minutes, man, I mean, this girl is gassing out badly. And if you're getting tired and Robertson taking you down and get on top, man, I mean, we've seen this girl quit before. And I think when Robertson elbow her face off, she might just turn her back and get choked out. And there's a lot of submission that Robertson had. You know, that's the arm bar, the rear naked choke, the arm triangle. There's a lot of them. And even I know she doesn't have guillotine in her career, but Il got a Pinheiro in the front choke. And it's not the only fight where she's getting tired and she's kind of shooting sloppy takedowns. If she does that against Robertson, I mean, she's going to go for a guillotine. I mean, if Hill can submit her, Robertson can get her in the same move. I'm pretty confident in that. And also, I mean, even in round 1, when she's going for judo throw and stuff like that, Robertson could take her back, man. I mean, even if she get taken down, she could reverse. She could get an armbar. You know, she could get on top. So, I mean, Pinheiro, I don't think she's that good on the ground personally. I mean, good judo throw, stuff like that. First 6 minutes. But then after that, it's all Robertson. I think Robertson has massive finishing upside. Also, like, she's one of the, I think she has the most finishes in women MMA in the UFC. So, I mean, the girl's a finisher. Pinheiro, you know, like I said, she could win round 1 and bonk early. That's not impossible. Robertson's hittable, but I just don't see it happening. You have a girl whose job is on the line, and I do think her boyfriend just got caught from the UFC. If she loses this 3-fight losing streak, I think it might be over for her. And Robertson, you know, career trajectory on her side. She's getting better. She's ranked in the new weight class now. She has momentum, everything. So, yeah, I mean, she's also younger. She's almost 2 years. She's 1.5 years younger. So, I mean, I think she should get this done by finish. I just think that Pinheiro is going to compete early but get finished late. That's how I see the fight playing out.
Who was her boyfriend?
Nicolau.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So, yeah, I just think that Robertson, like you said, she could get ground and pound TKOs. I wouldn't get cute and play the sub, but I think you can go. There's a lot of different ways to play this fight. So, yeah, I think she's going to finish her, though. I'm not sure KO or sub. I do favor the sub, but I think a ground and pound TKO is also on the table.
All right, next fight, GM3, Gerald Meerschaert versus Renier de Ridder, the Dutch Knight. GM3 is 37-17. He's 36, 6'1" with a 77.5-inch reach. Renier de Ridder is 17-2. He's 34, 6'4" with a 79-inch reach. Line on these two gentlemen, you can get de Ridder anywhere from -300 to, he's pretty much -300. GM3 is +225. Drav, I'm going to have you go first here. I mean, we know Renier is coming over from one championship where he was both a middleweight and light heavyweight champion over there. We know GM3's got that dog in him, and he's a fan favorite. Who do you think finds the win? Who's the better grappler?
Interesting fight. I think de Ridder is the better grappler of the two. I think he's better positionally. I think he has better top control than GM3, and he has the more. I think he's the better submission artist. But GM3 is just, you know, he's the tricky fighter because he's rarely the better fighter, but he just finds ways to win more, like often and often, you know, again and again. He's always a big underdog, and he come true. You know, I bet on him in his last fight. Shout out to him, man. I mean, I had submission round 2 plus 1,800. He cashed that for 9 units for me, so that was massive. It's kind of, you know, GM3 sub 2-3 is kind of system play at this point. There's always good big odds, and he's a guy that lose round 1 and then his opponent slow down and he's find a way to get a sub. So it could be on the table here because this guy, de Ridder, you know, he's a hype guy and everything. I get it. You know, he's fun on tapes. He looks okay, but I'm not that impressed with the guy, man. Like, to be honest, he's massive for the division, but he's been fighting up a weight class for these last couple fights. And I think he has not made 185 in 6 years. So I think his cardio is very questionable. With the big weight cut and the fact that he didn't cut weight to 185 pounds, because that's a massive difference, guy. Fighting at 205 compared to 185, especially when you're building muscle and make your body is used to this weight class at 34 years old, and now you're going to make the cut back to 185. It's one of the I think it's the biggest difference in weight class in the UFC. So he's massive, but I think the weight cut's going to affect him. And even at 205, I think the guy's cardio is not very good. So what happened when these guys kind of slow down and stuff like that, and they're trying to grapple with GM3, you find a way to get a sub. So I think a submission's on the table here, especially guillotine, because the guy, de Ridder, his wrestling is better than GM3. He should be able to get takedowns, but his wrestling is not amazing. And if he gets tired and shoots sloppy shots and put his head in bad position, I've seen it on tapes, GM3 could snatch his neck and put him in guillotine and stuff like that, you know. But they've been training together for a long time. Also, they did train together at Killcliff. I've listened to both guys' interview. De Ridder said that GM2 is not going to try to grapple with him. He's going to try to keep it on the feet because for one of the rear time, GM2 is actually a better striker of the two. you know, that which is weird because it doesn't happen often. I don't think the Raiders that I don't think he's that guy on the feet. I think GM3 is the better striker slightly, and I don't think he's gonna have to worry about the Raider power. He's not a powerful guy standing. So the Raiders, like, yeah, he's gonna try to just keep it on the feet. He's not gonna try to grapple with me, stuff like that. He knows I'm better and blah blah blah. And GM3 is like, yeah, you can bet fight and by sub, stuff like that. He's like, there's a good chance that this fight end by sub. And he didn't like touch. He said like in the training and in the fighting stuff, it's not the same. And I think he's one of the best example because he's a guy that get in dogfight, get beat up, and like tire these guys and submit them. But in training, if they're fresh and shit, man, I mean, maybe he's getting beat up in training and stuff like that because when their opponent are fresh, he's normally not winning. But in a fight, it can be different. And yeah, he's just the better striker. He's been fighting the better guys. He has more experience. So there's definitely a case to be made for GM3. But I just think that the Raiders going to be able to get him down early, get to dominant position, and might just submit him. So that's on the table. He might just be too big, too strong for him. But I want to see the weighing in. I want to see the face-off. I want to see how he look like. Not sure if I'm going to bet this one, but I think GM3 is a live underdog. I think he's live to submit. I think he's live to TKO. I think if they go the distance, it's probably going to be close. But GM2 round 2-3 sub, it's always like a great angle in this fight. So they're big numbers again. They're counting him out again. So maybe get it done this weekend. We'll see. But interesting to see because I'm not that high on this guy, the Raider, but we'll see though.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you just said. The way I was going to play it, I was looking into GM3's spread actually, because I think if the fight does go the distance, I think he at least wins a round. It's usually going to be the later one. Like you said, he's the better striker. The Ritter gets hit a lot. He's very hittable. Like you said, when he gets tired, his takedowns get lazier. We know how good GM3 is late, and I don't know. I was thinking about going back to the well with GM3 round 2, round 3. But like I think I didn't bet it last time, and of course this is gonna be the time that I do bet it, and he doesn't hit those two props. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna be stuck in that situation, but I think I'm okay with the spread plus 3.5. I don't know what the odds on that are.
Plus 100.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so I'm okay with him plus 3.5, plus 100. Do a slight sprinkle on the money line on top of that. And then, if he wins, that's great. If he wins or loses and covers around, you go bigger on the spread. You win money either way. You just hope that GM3 doesn't get finished. And I don't think he'll get finished here against the Ritter. What do you think, Key?
Yeah, I agree with most of what y'all said. RDR's tape was like really underwhelming. I have no bet on this fight. I don't plan to have any money on this fight. I have enough PTSD from my Petrosky bet against GM3, which will go down in the history books as one of the worst bets I've made. But yeah, there's a pass fight for me. Interested to see if GM3 can strike up the old magic as usual.
Next fight, Ricky Turcios versus Bernardo Sopaj. Ricky Turcios is 12-4. He's 31-5'9", the 71-inch reach. Bernardo Sopaj is 11-3. He's 24-5'6", 66-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen, you get Sopaj anywhere from minus 360 to minus 350. You get Turcios anywhere from plus 260 to plus 270. Key, I think we all were on Sopaj in his debut against Lockdog, and it was looking good until he got tired. Then he got put on a highlight reel. Do we think his cardio remains to be an issue? And is Turcios going to be able to survive the first round and start cooking in rounds 2 and round 3? Or do we think Sopaj puts on a clinic here now that he's had a full camp? What do you think?
Yeah, so there's different ways to look at this fight. As for the last fight for Sopaj, I believe all three of us backed him, but I know that I did for sure.
I did too.
I backed him at like plus 120 something. He was looking good. And even had Look Dog flattened out in round 2 and looked like he was potentially on his way to finding something. But Look Dog reversed, and then from there, I mean, Sopaj just died. And I really don't think that his cardio is that bad, what we just saw. I think that was like adrenaline dump, short notice, cardio already a little sus, but that was like insane. So I really don't think this cardio is that bad, but I don't think this cardio is good. And in a fight versus Turcios, he's gonna he just won't fuck off. Like, he's just a guy that won't fuck off, it feels like. So I think that Sopaj has round 1, round 2 upside to finish him. I think that Turcios probably wins round 3 potentially. But even that, it's not like Turcios is gonna like, he's one punch away from losing a round at all times because he's not gonna truly separate. Like, he's just gonna get into dog fights. So it's not like he's gonna separate. So one punch could be the round. I think that Turcios, I'm not sure if Bernardo really has a ton of grappling upside here. My fault. But I don't think that he has a ton of grappling upside here. So this is just I think he wins, but parlaying at these prices, crazy, crazy work. If you're that confident he wins, you should be confident that he finishes. So play his ITD props if that's the case.
Yeah, I kind of agree, but I just think, honestly, I think it's a fight you don't bet on, just because you got to see what Sopaj is going to look like on a full camp against big competition. Ricky Turcios is a dog. We have seen him get hurt before, but he always bounces back up. He's got high volume, high pace, good scrambles, good BJJ. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things that, for first off, this is a good test for Sopaj, but like, Sopaj's cardio gets down. I trust Ricky to put the volume up late in the fight to win, but like, sometimes you watch Ricky throw punches and like they're not even landing. He's just throwing like a lot of volume and nothing's landing, or they're pitter patters. Like, it's kind of weird. So I'm not sure if you could trust Ricky here in this spot. But like he said, I guess if you have to play Sopaj, I guess you could say play him to get a finish. He's definitely not going to submit him. He'll probably knock him out if possible. Would this be, I don't know if this would be his first knockout or his first knockout loss for Turcios.
Oh no, he got put out badly against Mana Martinez back on the regional.
So yeah, so Sopaj may be able to knock him out if he gets there. But yeah, I'm staying off this fight. Like he said, if you want to play Sopaj, play him inside the distance. If you want to play Turcios, just play a money line or play him by decision. What do you think, Drav?
Yeah, the fact you're talking about him hitting the hair, I'm not sure if it was because of Zahabi, because we know how good Zahabi is. Like, his striking defense, 71%. So Ricky, like, he looked bad in that fight, but was it because of Zahabi? We don't really know, because he's normally a high volume guy that is not like he's hitting this guy normally. But in that fight, he just couldn't do anything. He was just against a better man that was super defensively sound. Which in this fight, like, at first I thought I'm not sure if it was because of the UFC debut only that he asked, like, yes, I played Sopaj, he was looking good, etc. Then you go back and you look his original, you win a distance 2-time, right? A split decision and another decision win. And the guy's slowing down in these fights also. Yeah, and round 2 and round 3. It was not as bad in the Oliveira fight, but I mean, it was not high pace either. And he was slowing down still. So I think his cardio is still questionable, even though he gassed out completely in his last fight. Maybe he's going to learn from that. He's only 24 years old. But also, I mean, he was like at the bad end of a brutal KO loss, and he needs to come back after that. You need to talk about it. Is that going to affect his confidence moving forward? We don't really know. Not to say that Turcios is going to put him out, but he's normally a very confident fighter, Sopaj is. So maybe it's going to affect him here. But there's a big power and strength advantage for Sopaj. I mean, he's way stronger. He hit way harder. I think he's gonna have he's gonna land a way bigger shot than Turcios, and he has more finishing upside. So I understand with him being the favorite, he's probably gonna be able to name takedowns here. But I mean, Turcios is not easy to control. He has very good scrambles, and I know he got submitted last fight, but he's normally very, very hard to submit. So I feel like if Sopaj finish him, it's gonna be a KO on the feet early. But I don't like that Sopaj is so low volume and that Turcios throw a lot of volume. I think it might be a difference. And after looking more into it, I'm pretty confident that Turcios is going to win the third round if he go the distance. He's going to throw more volume. He has very good cardio, and he's a durable guy normally, but he can get hurt. He can get dropped, So I feel like Sopaj probably win, but probably by decision, winning the first 2 and, surviving the third. Because Oliver is a nasty finisher. Turcios is not. So, yeah, I think Turcios is going to win the third, but losing a decision here But yeah, the price getting crazy. Like we're talking minus 350 to minus 400. I think it should be 70%, so minus 230. But yeah, that like money line wise, it got to be dog or pass. But yeah, my pick's gonna be Sopaj to win a decision.
All right. Next fight is Carolina Kowal. Okay, 1 second. I had this one practiced, and now I'm on the big stage, and I'm choking. Carolina Kowalkiewicz versus Denise Gomes. Right?
Gome. It's Gome.
Gome. Okay. Denise Gome. 16 Kowalkiewicz 16-8. She's 39, 5'3", the 64-inch reach. Denise Gome is 9-3, 5'2", 63, 63-inch reach right now. Odds Gomes is anywhere is like minus 500. Kowalkiewicz is plus 350 to plus 400. I'll go first. Normally we send it to Key, but I'll keep this one quick. This is a setup spot for Gomes. We've seen Kowalkiewicz knocked out one time. It was by Jessica Andrade. And I'm not sure if you can tell me, is this not Jessica Andrade? Again, 2.0 with heavier hands possibly than Andrade. She's going to do the same thing again. Kowalkiewicz is kind of old at this point. Like I said, she's 39. This is like the teetering point for women's MMA. She's looked good since going back to or being at American Top Team. She's strung together a bunch of good wins. Luciendo, we know we all bet her last fight, so it's not a bad loss. But I don't know. Something tells me this girl, Denise Gomez, is going to go out there and knock her out. Yeah, that's my take on it. I think it's, plus 375 for KO. So I'll take a sprinkle on that. That's the way I'm going to play this fight. What do you think, Key?
Yeah, I think that this is a Gomes setup spot. Minus 500 for somebody that does not have the brightest brain. I'll pass on the parlay piece, but I think that there's some cool ways to play her here through her finish props. I think that's the only way she justifies this price tag. Kowalkiewicz, I've made a shit ton of money off this latest run of hers, including the last L. So she will forever be a legend for me. But I think that we're getting close and close to the end of the road. You're not fighting fucking Belbita and Gomez Juarez anymore. So I think that this is a spot where Gomes should be able to look pretty good. I backed her last time out against that fraud Moore. But at the same time, like, that was a fight that she should have finished. Like, I had so much on our ITD props too, and she fucking cucked us. But it is what it is. I think that Gomes gets it done here. Unsure what her long-term upside looks like. But I think at this mid-tier, I think that she's violent, nasty, doesn't need a ton of process. So I like to continue seeing her get violent. So it's a potential pass as of right now, but there could be some cool ways to get into this fight.
You're not going to tell us about them? You're going to tell us what the cool ways to get involved?
Props, I said ITD props earlier in the breakdown.
Okay. Dravhy, what are you thinking here, big boy?
Yeah, I mean, Gomes is my girl. I'm not as much as into women's MMA as Key is, but she's one of my most profitable fighters in the UFC. My most profitable girl in the entire sport, no doubt. I mean, I don't think I've ever lost money on her fights. Let me just check. So I backed her against Bruna Brazil. She was a big underdog. I backed her against Yasmin Uregi. She was a plus 350 underdog. I bet the under in that fight as well. I bet against her with Angela Hill. Angela Hill was an underdog. And I bet on her against Mura, and she was a plus 160 dog again. And I lost some money on the props there. But I mean, I have a very, very good read on this girl, and I'm not scared to fade her with the girl like Hill when the time is there. But I mean, KK is not winning this fight, guys. I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, she's on a 4-1 in her last 5 fights. Respect to her, career resurgence and everything. But the difference in power here is insane. Like there's massive power advantage. And go back and look what happened the last time that Carolina fought someone like that looked like Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade herself, she got put out in that fight. And I think that at 39 years old, she's due to get put out again. And Gomes hits very hard for this division. Very big hitter. She's gonna pressure. And KK's style is to throw a lot of volume and get hit to land her shots. She's not really defensively sound. And even in her last couple fights, I mean, Vanessa kind of clip her early. I know Vanessa does hit hard, but she still clip her early. Gomez Reyes was landing shots on her. Lucindo didn't finish, but Lucindo hurt her also in that spot. So she got hurt in her last couple fights. She's 39, and she's now facing a girl that hit harder than all of them, and a girl that's not going to fuck off. And I think that Gomez can knock her out or finish her in any round. Round 1, 2, 3. She has finishes in all of these rounds. And I think KK needs to fight a perfect fight to win that. And I don't think she does. I think that's a close split, 29-28 pat. But I think Gomes has a lot of finishing upside. And I think she could also submit this girl. We've seen Gomes mix up the grappling in her last couple fights. She almost had a sub on Nomura in her last fight, And even against Angela Hill, she go for a sleek armbar. She go for some guillotine. She does try to go for subs, and she's kind of sneaky with them. And, Karina has been submitted before, So I think that we've seen Gomes. She's a brown belt in BJJ, and she's, she's working on the grappling recently. Her girlfriend is Cara Rosa, and they're training together for a couple years or a couple months. And even with Jessica Andrade, I think they train together. So I think maybe Carolina's going to try to wrestle here because she's been trying to wrestle more in her last couple fights. But I don't think she's going to be able to control Gomes. And I think she's going to put herself in bad position, potentially getting submitted. I think a KO is more likely on the Gomes side. But yeah, there's a couple different ways to play this fight. Like you said, I have my little idea. Gonna keep it for the Dub Club guys. I can give every bet for free on the live free stream. But yeah, I think Gomes is gonna find a finish here. Can be any round, can be any way, but we're gonna see after Saturday night. But yeah, I think she's gonna go on a little run here.
Main event, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Forgot to say that all episode. It's okay. We love supporting you guys. Just support us. The best way to do it is by subscribing. Leave us a like. Leave us a comment who your favorite fighter is. We love to get involved. We'll be back next week for a live video for UFC 309 MSG. Okay, main event, Neil Magny versus Carlos Prates. Neil Magny, 29-12, 37, 6'3", 80-inch reach. Carlos Prates, 20-6, 31, 6'1", 78-inch reach. He's a fight nerd specialist. The line on these two guys, Magny is plus 500 to plus 550. Carlos Prates is minus 800 or minus 750 to minus 800. I mean, you can't be upset with this guy, Carlos Prates. He comes out and puts up highlight tapes. He's probably been my favorite fighter since I saw him on Dana White Contender Series. I saw Muay Thai tattooed across his chest. I was doing Muay Thai at the time. I'm like, yo, this is my boy. And he's done nothing but put on expert level performances. You look at some of the things he does. I'm trying to pull this up for you guys. If you go and look at some guys do like a tail of the fighter, this thing that you see this on Twitter, I retweeted it on my page. I mean, it sounds like he's the man. I don't know how a guy from Brazil's favorite show is Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but that's besides the point. That's a kind of a wild one for me. But hey, I like that show too. It's great. It says here that he fought Charles Oliveira on SFT 37. I never went back and saw that. Are we talking about like
it's a different Charles Oliveira? I believed he stopped him with a jab. It's a different Charles Oliveira.
Okay. I was gonna say, seems like
I thought you were kidding, man. Come on, Doc.
Well, I wouldn't go back and watch that, but I was just looking at that. I'm like, hold up. When did he ever fight Charles?
No, we know Peg's not watching the regional, right? He's never going that back.
No, I'm not going back. Dude,
never
this guy
look at a
no need.
regional.
Actually, I'll tell you. How about this? I'll tell you this. I didn't even have to tape this fight. I didn't even look at it. You know why? because it's all highlight tapes, and it's going to be another one. It's going to be a knockout. It's going to be round 1, maybe. Round 2, maybe. Round 3, maybe. Round 4, maybe. Who knows? Either way, he's getting it done. Neil Magny's a dead man. You can see it. We saw the same thing against Michael Morales like 3 months ago in June or whatever the fuck June was. Guess what? He's back to get finished again. Carlos Prates is going to put his lights out. It's probably going to be bad. It's probably going to be ugly. How'd your kids? How'd your wife? Carlos Prates back, baby. Let's get
All
it.
right, I'll go next because Peg's talking like he's picking an underdog to win by finish, but he's picking a minus 750.
Pick of the week, Carlos Prates by KO minus 300. What do you got?
Yeah, he sounds sharp, guys. But if you're not betting, I mean, he's saying someone's gonna win. He's almost 90% imply, and minus 300 to win by KO. So it sounds sharp, but maybe not that sharp, But
are you gonna go for the sub angle here?
I tend to agree with you that he's gonna finish him. Obviously, if he's that big of a favorite, but to be fair, I didn't go back and watch his regional again for this fight because I already did multiple times for his last couple fights, and you clearly didn't because you should have known that. Me and Keith know. So, but yeah, the Charles Oliveira, he's just a meme. He KO'd him with the jab. That was funny. I mean, yeah, the guy's highlight real Prates, man. I mean, he has nasty power, and yeah, man, you could submit him, Peg, to answer your question. You could definitely submit Magny. Magny has struggled with grappling his entire career when he fight good BJJ artists. And Prates, that fighting nerds guy, very high level camp. They know what's up. They watch tapes. They're preparing. Prates has good front chokes and he has long arms. I do favor KO over sub, obviously. But if he submit Magny, I wouldn't be shocked. I think it could be there. Magny, when he get hurt, he tends to just, get on the ground and cover up and stuff like that. If Prates, Michael Morales could have submitted him. He just decided to go for the ground and pound. If Prates wants a sub here, I think he's going to go for a sub if he wants to. But yeah, I think
Magny plus 1,000 for that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I wouldn't play KO minus 300. That's what I was saying. But I think there's a couple ways to play. Maybe, with the round props and stuff like that. I don't think he's going to finish him in the first round. Magny is going to probably have some success in the clinch. Prates normally make his reads early. He's another of these guys where I make a lot of money on his fights. I back him against Radtke. I back him against the Leech. I back him by KO against Jaya round 2, etc. He over in the Leech over 1.5. I've made a lot of money on this guy as well. I have a good read on him. And my read's basically that he's making his reads early, first 3 or 4 minutes. He can be low volume. He's not that good of a minute winner, but he's very good moment winner, and he's very opportunistic to get a KO. First guy to KO the Leech, I think, or let me just check. I'm pretty sure he is. I don't think Leech has been KO'd prior to that. Yeah, he's the first one to put him out, and I mean, he hurt him multiple times, and he hurt him in round 1, he hurt him in round 2, and then you put him out. Nasty performance, and yeah, the game plan is going to be to destroy Magny legs early. And Magny doesn't check leg kicks. We've seen in his entire career, not only the Ian Gary fight, but a lot of these fights getting his legs beat up. He doesn't have an answer for that. So I think the camp fighting nerd's going to kick the legs early and get the KO after that. So I think Magny is kind of done here. He's 37 years old. Durability is on the decline. And yeah, like I said, he could have some success early, maybe in round 1, some clinch work and stuff like that. But it's only going to be a matter of time until Prates finish him. That's kind of a, setup spot kind of.
Key.
Yeah, I mean, I'm somebody that's been pretty high on Carlos Prates this whole run. I didn't play him at minus 200 against Giles back in because I said at the time that it was gonna look bad until he found the shot. Because like Dravhy mentioned, I was saying it back then. I mean, the guy isn't Mr. Minute Winner. He's definitely not gonna win minutes super early. But we've been seeing him more and more time that he's gotten comfortable in the UFC cage. I don't know if it's just opponent or what, but he's been finding shit a lot quicker. I had his KO at plus money against Radtke, which feels crazy in hindsight, and was a nasty body shot. But I think he does the same to Magny here. Magny's talking at media day right now, talking about this is a guy who he can beat easily and shit like that. And watching tape for this reminds me how big of a piece of shit Ian Gary is. Do y'all remember that whole Magny narrative. That shit was so lame. And I watched back that fight. One, Gary should have finished. But two, that was such a this is outside the breakdown, but that is just so fucking lame to act like Neil Magny's a child beater just because he said that he would just give
Neil Magny's a good guy.
Come on, like he's one of the most solid guys in the MMA community, it seems like. And Gary was like holding on for dear life for something to like try to build the fight, and that was just so corny and lame. And Neil was talking about how he had custody issues after that because of it and all that stuff. So yeah, but Gary's time is coming, but that's besides the point. Prates
Joaquin Buckley's not going to take care of the job, but Shavkat's going to take care of the job.
Shavkat will do the job. And if it ain't Shavkat, Prates will come and do the job. So Prates by KO was the pick. That's the obvious pick. So yeah.
All right.
BTL Parlay.
All right. That's the show. BTL Parlay. Who are you guys thinking? Let's just cash this one. Let's get a good one in here.
I'll go pussy like pig. I'll put Gomes -500.
Very funny. Pick
I'll
something
go
else.
Gore -162.
Damn.
Okay.
He took both of them. I was thinking that too. All right. Give me Melissa Dixon -250.
It's -240.
All right. That's fine.
All right, so Gomes -500, Gore -162, and Mullins -240. Give you +175.
You get Gomes out of there -500. We need some more value. We need some juice.
You just said you want to cash one. We're gonna cash this one if Key's right about Gore.
Well, Key is right about Gore. So first off,
If he's right, we're gonna cash it.
You don't want to pick anyone else. You don't want to pick. All right, fine. If you want to leave a -500, that's a wild move.
Yeah,
you're gonna have the largest leg in BTL history right here.
I'm pulling a Pegasus pick, so now the pick has to lose.
I think it's you now because you have the highest leg in history. Okay, didn't you say Gomes -500, Mullins -240?
I just said it.
And then Key did Trajan Gore.
Peg, it's okay. I just said it. Mullins, Gore, Gomes +175 on Ben.
That's the show. These we have sorry. These guys got links. I'm going to put the links down below in the chats to their dub clubs. You take a picture of the screenshot of you subscribing, send it to them. They'll give you a discount. There's only 3 cards left on the year, so this is the last time for you guys to buy a month. UFC Tampa is the last one in December 16th, so get it now. It's the last time you're going to make money before the end of the year. Everyone deserves Christmas gifts under the tree. The only way you're going to get them is by following us and winning bets.
That's not true, by the way. There's more than three cards left, bro. There's this one, UFC 309, Jan Figueiredo, UFC 310, and UFC Tampa. That's 5.
Oh, so look at that. That's 5 cards you're going to get for the price of 1. All you got to do, subscribe, take a screenshot, send it to these 2 guys, say BTL on Twitter, and their links to their dub clubs will be below. Is that good? We out of here?
Yeah, we out.
All right,
Peace out,
boys.
guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
See you next week.